Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is going to be a reading. I'll start pulling out the cards. I was just looking through pictures that I had developed. I had quite a few developed. So I might show some of them on my personal channel. A lot of it, a lot of them are pictures of my pets. I am doing them in doing some pictures, developing some pictures at a time. So the next group of pictures might be more scenic and animals I see in nature, or like when I go to my friend's farm, I like to see or take pictures of the animals. So I have some pictures of myself up in the group of pictures too. Um, I do have some when I'm hanging out, but I don't have too many. I feel like I have a good amount just because I. Oh my god. Sorry, hold on. Sorry, I don't know if this is really TMI, but I got 2 vaccines the other day because it was required for me to have them for my course. Otherwise, I would be on academic probation. So the band-aid that was left was just kind of like flapping from the fan that I have next to me. So I just took it off. Um, as I was saying with like when I'm in like group pictures, I'm not really, they're kind of chill kind of settings, and um, I don't really talk to many people in general. So basically the ones that I have like those, I feel that there's a good amount, but I don't have as many if I were to maybe if I had pictures with exes or whatever, and no beef, but I just felt like, and I didn't have any pictures of them anyway, but um, that would be why. But some of them are more like, well, they're all memories. So this is one of my late rabbits, and she would get her teeth trimmed. So I feel that, well, she is a senior. I would adopt a lot of senior pets, and I love senior pets. Um, I feel like they're so just gentle, and you could feel that they appreciate the companionship because I would have her free roaming, and then when I would get back from work, like she would run around my legs, and it was fun. I also just put oil in my hair, essential oil, and I try not to put too much because I definitely don't feel like it'll be detrimental, but I don't want to shock my hair either, like it's on steroids. I feel, well, I don't put a lot, into my hair unless I'm washing it, and I don't wash my hair often. And it's been nice. I also don't put heat on my hair. I haven't for almost a year, so that's been nice. Um, but I do style it in other ways. What else did I do? Well, I felt like, well, and I saw with after putting essential oil, that the hair looked, like the hairs looked plumper, and I felt like it was doing well. I did a little bit of trimming, like in this area, because there are areas of my hair that grow past my hips, and then I trimmed and nourished those areas so it could revitalize and be strong enough to grow, and then I'll have my hair at a length, but I still tend to cut it here and there. I feel that when you're, well, growing up, I would just like put random types of hair leave-in conditioners and stuff like that, just because it was fun. And I do feel that it's super nice too. But I also feel, well, now when you have the time, but you don't really have the energy, whereas before you had the energy, but you didn't have as much time to adventure to do these specific things. I got this temperance card from the last reading. It was more noticeable. It was noticeable in the last reading and in this reading. One of the pictures that I have, it was almost like it was looking at me as if the energy was in pain. And it was like maybe a past conversation that you didn't realize how much like something could have been painful for you or for somebody until you looked back, and maybe it could have even been a certain point of time in your life where um maybe you felt like it was rock bottom. But I feel like with rock bottom, it tends to be the thing where there's the rockiest bottom to that bottom. Like it could keep going, but I just feel like there is an appreciation of those that, like, I'm getting like sticking up. So those who may have just really stood by your side and had your back and wanted to endure certain things with you. And to be honest, I feel like there's some energy that may not have understood it, because just feeling the energy, like, just as I kept looking at the picture, the image became more and more sad. Like the smile became more like grieving, and the eyes became more like, even if the picture was smiling, there was still something behind it that was hurting. And when I brought up that picture of my um, rabbit. So when I adopted Lulu, that was her name when I got her. Um, I went to the shelter and um, I have had rabbits over the years. I have multiple pictures of different rabbits in there that I've had. So I wasn't like specifically picky. I do like rabbits that you could pick up because I feel like that's so fun. I used to do that with my first rabbit. My first rabbit was one of the rabbits that like enjoyed being picked up. I feel like he enjoyed being picked up. I don't know if I could say it completely, but um, Lulu was a one of the pets that were having, well, that was having a hard time getting adopted. And I remember there was this other rabbit. And again, I wasn't like specifically picky. I'm not saying one is better than the other at all. But I remember it was like fun because it was a white rabbit that was just like I love the larger rabbits too. I think just I feel like they're my favorites, the larger ones. But I love the dwarfs too. I just love rabbits in general. Um and the rabbit just let me hold her for whatever time and was okay with it. Um, and then Lulu wasn't really responding to people as much. So I remember now, well, now I remember. I was there and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna get my carrier. So I went back to my apartment to get the carrier and I came back. And like when you say that maybe to a shelter, they're like, oh, I don't know if she's coming back, but I didn't come back because I felt like the temperament wasn't bad at all. I didn't feel like an indifference. I felt like maybe it was a little more of a shyness or like just, I don't want to say guardedness, but when you're skeptical about who to let be around you or like as for an animal maybe to like approach you or something. So I ended up taking Lulu home and she moved with me to another state and I still have her crem- cremations in my storage unit, but my storage unit is organized and it is temperature. I'm going to start turning over the cards. I'm sorry. Temperature sensitive. It's a nice storage unit. Um, so, but I'm happy that I did that. And she was, I want to get my other phones. Like, I had a Samsung that I feel like I can get pictures off of because there are some phones like throughout the years. There's this older iPhone, not my oldest one, but it has a lot of my older pictures that I thought it would be fun to upload to. Just like Adrian and like life over the years. The Samsung wasn't like, it's like more of a pretty recent one, but I feel like it might have pictures like that. And I didn't even say, like when Lulu would lay down with the cats, because I had a couple cats, like some of them were just from, well, were from Craigslist, some of them were found. So that was that lifetime or period of time. And I'm happy that like the rabbits and the cats enjoy each other's company because one of my cats, my black cat, um, Kiki, and I actually got her for free because like her previous owner like didn't come back for her. I think like someone was babysitting her and like didn't come back for her. And she's also a senior too. And Kiki was one of the ones that she liked being the only cat. And I felt bad, um, especially towards the end, because I do consider her like, or she is my best friend. And I don't say that lightly. And I rarely have said that throughout my life. So it was sad to see her pass, but I was really lucky with her that after maybe feeling like I could have given her more, when she passed, like I had a bed and I was sitting on my bed and she just ran to me and like she's a talkative cat, and then she like passed underneath like me where I was sitting, like to say goodbye. And usually cats like have a tendency of going somewhere that is more isolated when they pass. So I'm not gonna make it like a sad story. Like it was, maybe I'll share it in another video, but that was really just such a big thing for me. And I am going so much into tangents, but I'll start reading the cards. So, and I have the blue and yellow here. Outdoors, Archangel Jovial, go outside, get some fresh air, and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. And comfort, Archangel Azrael, I'm with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. With the outdoors one, it feels like there does seem to be a burden on the heart. As I was saying with that picture, it felt like it was inflicted type of environmental things, but at the same time, again, just like quickly going into Kiki's story, that I ended up bringing her to, because I didn't have money to get her cremated. So I have some of her hair and I have more of her hair. Um, and I brought her to my favorite park in Massachusetts, and it was off of a cliff, which is interesting, but I loved that park. And I went all the way down to lay her there so she'd be undisturbed. And it was like a combination of, oh my God, quickly, Adrian, being a little like, oh my God, I gotta get back up the hill. And because it was getting dark. And when it's dark in the woods, because it's like a woodsy area, like it gets pitch black. And then like when you're in a park, they close the park. So, um, I felt like there was a lot of breathing, like I was, oh my God, I gotta get up back to my car. And also because of some heart conditions where, especially going on an incline, is definitely noticeable. Um, and I have a harder time going on an incline. So when I was back in my car, I was like gasping for like 10 minutes. And then I left because at least I was like back in the car. So didn't mean to make it like, again, I'm not trying to make it like sad, but there's just something about being able to be in a sweeter time or like in a less um devastating mindset. I feel that it's definitely easier said than done, but there are things that are trying to like say that it's okay to feel that way. It's also okay to let yourself heal instead of feeling like this devastation needs to be the embodiment of you. Um, it's almost like it feels like the makeup of yourself or like the like how you are. There's something that when you're getting that fresh air, it kind of reminds me I'm getting like memories again. And it's weird with memories. I'm sorry, I keep showing the same cards, but the memories of because I've lived in different parts of the US. New England is probably one of my favorite places. Just fresh fall air is like one of my favorite feelings because I breathe, again with my heart problems, I breathe better with thin, like cold air. So, um, there's something that it's meant to feel nice and like you can allow yourself to feel in better ways instead of being in this confinement where there is, of course, all these things going around you, but if you can, to allow yourself to, well, to give yourself that breathing room where it can help de-stress. And rosemary, because that's what I've been putting in my hair, is more of like an activating essential oil. And it definitely helps with your mind. It helps when um like there is like a purification that comes from it too. There's a lot of clarity when you have it and even like when I put the oil, sometimes I just not even put it on my hair, but it'll probably get on my hair anyway, like behind my ears or like on my neck or something. Sometimes I put it on my temples, but I haven't been doing that as much. And there's just like such a concentrated energy. Like there is a new, different sense of focus. In the past, there is the Page of Cups, and in the future is the Eight of Pentacles. And me saying it's not a sad reading because I try not to do too many sad readings sometimes. Like, I feel a lot of my charts in Scorpio, I'm not going to try to blame everything on that, but and that's not my sun sign, but I feel when I am in my feelings, like the whole world will know about it. And I feel like sometimes people might just be like, well, damn, Adrian, this is sad as shit. I'm like, I'm sorry. Um, but there is something that it's almost like trying to regulate the functions of your body because I feel that there are certain things that one area affects another area, which is one of those general um, foundations that go along with traditional Chinese medicine, that you're treating the body as a whole instead of one specific area. That's what Western medicine tends to do. And I just had an assignment. Maybe I can read about it because I did do a specific response about um, the route of administration, and you can choose the drug. I chose scopolamine, and it is more of like an herb-based drug. So it's made out of ginseng weed and multiple types of henbane, and those tend to be on the lower therapeutic margins. Even in high or moderately high doses or low doses, it can be considered more on the toxic side, especially with ginseng weed. When ingested, especially like the seeds, it is considered poisonous. And then henbane, the ones that are made in, well, scopolamine is a plant-derived compound of those plants. So it, even in lower doses too, it can be toxic to animals and plants. But in controlled conditions, when you're isolating those compounds, the plant-derived compounds, it can be made into um, a drug that is useful. Not saying that it's useful for everybody, but um, you can have it as a patch. You can have it, well, there has been different forms. So it has been made into a tablet and as an injection. Injection can be injected in different areas. So um, subcutaneously, intravenously, um, and intramuscularly. So, but when we're thinking about it, we're also thinking about the bioavailability, or how available the drug is when it is in the body and its effects on the body. So, with that, you're also thinking about, this is going to be like a long discussion video. I should really just, I don't know, is this a reading at this point? Um, I'm just going to put like a lot of talking because I am not getting into this reading, but I am going to get into this reading. This has just been like the kind of cycle because I've been doing some of the coursework and I am fighting myself for it. Like today, well, I also didn't sleep a lot since um, my sleep schedule has not been adjusted yet for when I go into class. So I tend to have like a power nap before going in, and then I fall asleep like for a little bit when I get back from the class. Um, as I was saying, for the different forms and routes of administration, Um, for patches, it's nice you can avoid the digestive system and liver, which can be helpful, as I said, for if you are getting the side effects. And there's a lot of contraindications, there's a lot of interactions. When you look at this drug, there's a ton of medications that are on there, and you could categorize them to see which ones are like the types of interactions that you're getting depending on what the drug is and what it's trying to do. For the scopolamine, it's technically antispasmodic, anticholinergic, muscarinic antagonist, a- acetylcholine antagonist. So with those things, am I gonna get into this reading? Oh my god. Because of those things, um, it could be taken for various ailments. So, for one, you could, for the patch, it's commonly used for motion sickness or nausea, vomiting. When you're taking it in tablet form, you might want to take it because you're trying to directly affect the muscles when you're having like irritable bowel symptoms because it's an antispasmodic. For Parkinson's disease, that could be a thing. Well, that's definitely a thing. You're treating it because of its anticholinergic properties. Because when I was saying the muscular renic, I'm sorry if I don't say that one correctly. That's the specific acetylcholine. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that one correctly. Let me just make sure. I need to make sure. Welcome to my TED Talk. Oh my god. Uh, muscarinic. Muscarinic. Acetylcholine receptor. But this one is an antagonist. So it's going to try to, well, you're going to want to have the acetylcholine, but if it's overly active, it can have, it can worsen bodily functions. So this, for Parkinson's disease, you might see this in the elderly, the way that they're, like you might see them drooling, or their movement isn't as fluid as it would be. This could also affect, well, the scopolamine can also affect, um, it affects the neurotransmitters. So, because it has psychoactive effects. Um, so it tries to, lessen the symptoms of the Parkinson's disease, block the effects of the acetylcholine muscarinic receptors involved in bodily functions. And with digestion, as well as bladder control and heart rate. So, where was I going with that? Because it just seemed like I was going on a whole tangent. I feel like maybe you have something, but well, the vision that I was getting is like when you're, I feel like there might be kind of in your life hidden treasure. Because I have the Queen of Pentacles and the Two of Swords. And it almost might be like a rediscovery. I feel like it's something that you already have. And I don't necessarily feel like it's something forgotten, but maybe it's a different pathway or a different way to use it or having a different form, different way of doing something with it. Because, well, the vision that I was getting is like when you're cleaning your room and you find all that cool shit, and then you start like by like the end of like cleaning, you have your hat from 2006, your sunglasses, uh, a Walkman, you know what that is. Like you have some CDs that were burned that were given to you because people used to burn like CDs and give it to you as gifts. Um, just all this stuff, and it's like that rediscovery, and it does feel like it's a treat day too because you haven't seen this stuff in a while, but at the same time I feel that you might not have a lot of stuff in your life, like physically in your life. Maybe I'm not saying you're somebody doesn't hold that doesn't have things. You might not have things at the moment, but the things that like you hold or that you've kept, like they mean something. Um, this kind of feels like over the years when I I didn't get an allowance, but I was working until, well, I started working at 15, um, when I was able to get to work because I didn't have a car and my parents didn't want to drive me because they didn't want me to work. But I also wanted to buy stuff too. And when I got into high school, I just got lunch money and I wouldn't eat at school. I would just pocket the lunch money, and eventually I was patient enough to save up for tattoos and everything because I guess that's why my parents didn't want me working. But I was a creative person and I wanted to be expressive in every way that I knew how to be. And I did that with my hair a lot. I feel like that's what I did more than, um, well, and my clothing. Like I wanted to wear something that made me feel like I was alive, like I was me. And um, right now, it kind of feels like that too, where I'm mainly in school and um, I am kind of looking for jobs, but I'm kind of like really picky about it because I don't want to interrupt the work or the school flow because it's been going well. I just had a drug quiz and I got an 100 on it and I was happy. And I'm not saying that it can't be possible because there's always like times where people, maybe not everyone, but like where you work while you're in school. And I have the luxury of not needing to work while I'm in school, but I still want to buy stuff. So it's kind of like slowly like I want to buy stuff. And there's this Cyosin band shirt that I want to get, but I mean, I've gone all these years without buying one. Because this year I've been kind of like getting some band shirts. And this one I really liked because you could pick the style, like the shirt style. So I wanted like um, a women's v-neck. I thought that would be, well, it went with the design. So I figured that I would get it. And well, I wanted to get it. And I feel like over, especially when I was younger, when I had stuff, like I knew that I really wanted it because it took a lot of time to get it. And out of all the things that I could have gotten, um, maybe there was something cheaper along the way that maybe I could have gotten, but like there was some stuff that I knew that I was like, this would be part of my wardrobe, or once it's in my life, I'll have a big appreciation for it and I'll really love it because it doesn't feel like stuff that just is around the house. It feels like something that I thought about for a while, and I had time to really figure out like how it would fit into my life. Like I feel that there is a time period that you've gone through where you're like thinking, how do I fit this person or what I would like to have in my life, and it being something that is sustainable. There, it just feels like a long waiting period of knowing that you want this moment or a person and really getting into the, what is it, nitty gritty of it and all those possible things. And it consistently leads back to this is what I want, or this is like who I want, and I'm going to keep, that's the direction that my heart is going into. So with Two of Swords, as I was mentioning, like that is a really, I'm getting, I, well, the word that was gonna come out was like introverted or like introspection and thinking about those things and evaluating those parts of your life. And the Queen of Pentacles is one that makes that investment if she or he feels that um, it's worthwhile, even if it might be more costly than other things. I feel that it has like a place and purpose, even if it might not seem that justified to other people. Um, when I say place and purpose, it doesn't have to be like more on a transactional level. It could be more of like in a heart space because I don't feel like it leans, like a lot of stuff in life leans too deeply into the heart space as much as the financial part of it. And of course, um, when you think about the finances and how you're living your life and maybe your life savings and your retirement plan, it definitely means something. But there's also other parts of your life and parts of you that are um, alive, and it's acknowledging those things that are alive in yourself. Um, and it sounded kind of strange when I was saying like as if it was plural, but the soul is so vast that it doesn't fit into this body. Especially when you're not in this body, you'll see how the universe is just it's such a different perspective, and when you see things from a different perspective, it just life it matters in a different way. So with the heart space, you have the Ace of Cups, so it I like how it says self-love and appreciation and optimism, sincerity, joy, along with the Temperance card. The Temperance card was the first card that was at the bottom of the deck, and it seems like a healing and patience card and angel guidance, balance. Because with Temperance, it's just such a specific card, and I always find it a little bit of a paradox because it's one of those angelic, peaceful cards, and yet it's represented with Sagittarius. And I'm not saying Sagittarius is not one of those cards, but it is like a battle ready, battle born type of energy. And it does kind of have like an Archangel Michael type of effect to it too, because it is, well, Archangel is Michael is the archangel of soldiers or like the military. So when you, at least in America, when you get sometimes when you get like military jewelry, it has like Archangel Michael represented on it. I actually have some here, but I don't have it like literally on me. So, and with the Two of Swords, it's interesting. It says like facing fears. And it's funny because it's not funny that like if you're afraid of something, I'm not saying that. But like the words that I was getting for the past day or two was like don't be scared, and I don't know if that's like slang in only America. Oh yeah, I was gonna say something, but well, technically it is applicable to the reading because it is technically morning. Because I was gonna say Dobroho, ranku. Now it was like kind of I'm still seeing, and maybe I should look at the like on YouTube like the to make sure I was getting like the pronunciation right for the heh sound. I feel like that's the Cyrillic letter. I'm sorry if it's not. It's the second to last letter, and in the first word, and because from what I've read, that sound is like has like a breathy huh to it. But then when I'm looking at this word, they're saying that it's like the letter G in the English word goal, like the H. So I'm kind of like I don't I'm not getting the letters mixed up. But I know that sometimes like when I was being taught Ukrainian, like there's like I was being told like it's a KH sound. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I was trying to like, huh? Is that what you're trying to say? Because we don't really have that like combination for American words that I'm thinking about. I don't think I'm thinking about any words that have that type of sound. So when I was being told that, I'm like, okay, let me try to think about it. I don't know why I was getting like the world is your oyster because I'm not looking at the world card right now. And I don't see the world card. I see some other major arcana aside from Temperance. So Chariot and Magician are the other major arcana cards coming from the Universal Folk Tarot. It's always a blast, like, bringing out this deck. Of course, I love my Glory to Ukraine Tarot too. I feel like maybe I should get the backup of the deck. But I was loading my Etsy cart with Ukrainian yarn too. I don't know when I'm gonna get it, but I feel like it just is cost effective and I like the yarn. It's been nice. I'm almost finished. I'm finishing this round and then I'm done the ribbing. I know it's been a while for me to be on the ribbing, but after that, since it's gonna be color work for a lot of it, for majority of it, it will be I don't well it'll technically be a quicker process. Not like I'm trying to rush through it, but I could use both my hands. The other cards that I have from the Universal Folk Tarot are the Page of Wands and Nine of Pentacles. The Page of Wands has Messenger on it. For some reason, this energy that I'm getting is like theatrical. And the Knight of Pentacles is such an abundant card. And a lot of times, like with these readings, you've been getting the Queen of Pentacles with the Nine of Pentacles, and that has a tendency of being like there's multiple, or there's like an abundance of something, where there's more of something than you know. Maybe this can be like love activated too, because the Ace of Cups is here twice. Because I'm sorry, no, it's here once, but there's the Three of Cups. I just put moved the other cards and I saw that was the Three of Cups. But it's still Cups energy. And the Three of Cups can be a sense of community if it's not like multiple, like a community. It can be that something is, or someone is more affectionate or cares more deeply than you realize. And with the Nine of Pentacles, it kind of gives me, it gives me good energy, honestly, because it reminds me of, oh, I have this money, I could put it towards something that will be a good cause or benefit more than one person, or um, be good for not just me. Like I could buy this yarn because it's helping um Ukrainian family and I get to knit on this yarn. Um or sometimes like when you're younger you hear about these kids that like get this money. It wasn't me, but you would get the money and they're just like, I'm gonna donate this to the animal um like preservation or like land preservation or something that helps with those things. So it just feels like there's something where, because the Nine of Pentacles has a lot of something, and it's like that's what it feels like, wanting to give back to something that has given you happiness in return, or you're trying to give back because of the happiness that you received. from the Three of Cups. I'm sorry if I said Pentacles, but it's the Knight of Pentacles with the Page of Wands. There's just in like the concentrated energy because you have the crystal at the top of the wand that tends to be one of the things that it could do depending on what the crystal is. Let me go through the other cards. So you have the Magician and the Page of Swords. Magician being major arcana and then Page of Swords. There's a lot of like young enthusiastic energy. And it kind of also feels like being able to pass down certain things too. You don't have to be elderly to do this, but I know that some of the younger generation, they are getting into the music from with what I grew up with, and let me just pass down what I have listened to because I was there and I experienced these things, and it just felt like such a time. Like, I don't want to deal with all the bullshit from when you grow up. Not like I say that, but it could be definitely first world problems, but at the same time, I felt like there was a lot of things that went on, and maybe it's like based off of my personality and how I am, it was just not gonna fly. Like, I feel like I could be extremely stubborn with certain things. Um, so, because with the magician, it feels like there's something that's mastered. Like the magician is like the ascended master. Um, once was a person that was a novice, but even so, there's a page of swords. So this could also be, like I said, it doesn't have to be elderly. Like you don't literally don't have to be elderly, but it seems like you've ascended or you've gone to a certain point that maybe exceeded expectation, and it's something that is helping you maybe with your future too, because you have the chariot and it just seems like it goes together. There is an ace of cups. Oh my god, like I'm psychic because I was saying like, oh, there's only one ace of cups. There's like two ace of cups. So here's the other one, and then compassion, and then with the chariot too. I feel like this chariot is definitely on board with that because the chariot is like a Cancer, and Cancer with the Ace of Cups, like it's kind of like a yes please type of thing, because now we're kind of like getting into the meat and potatoes of or something that you actually like, and as if you're given food and you're enjoying it so much and you just want to keep eating it or exploring it, or like there's something about it. It doesn't have to be like specifically food, but something of interest. It could be a relationship, it could be a path of yours, like a career path where you're like, I'm really enjoying this and I can see myself doing this um, from here on. And there's that sense of excitement. And at least with my personality, if I like something, like I'll go all in with it. And I just want to learn as much as I can about it and be as proactive as I can be. It doesn't just have to be with a hobby, it is like that with like academic types of endeavors. So, um, as I said, like with the Cancer and like with the cup water energy, it's something that just feels nice, as if you get to dip your toes in something that feels like it heals you in a way. So I'll read the Glory to Ukraine cards. The present, you have the King of Swords. I feel like this is a different energy because in the last reading, because the last reading was a short reading, there were like King of Swords energies, but I feel like that was more of like of an opposing energy. I don't feel like this is the same energy as what the Ace of Cups is talking about, or like with the Chariot. And I'm not reading for signs like that, but sorry, like that. But I don't feel like the King of Swords is the same representation from the last reading. This King of Swords just it as I said, it really goes into the deep understanding type of part where you're trying to know something or somebody from every angle possible. So it just makes it seem like, and even being like barefoot, I'm not like a foot person, but just like being barefoot and knowing the land in that way, it's just so raw and authentic. The obstacle, it's interesting because you've been getting like the Six of Wands in other positions, but in this reading, it's in the obstacle with the Nine of Wands. And it seems like with the Nine of Wands, there might be like the fatigue to where you're not going towards something or someone. It almost feels a little bit like of an avoidance. And it might not be super intentional, but there might be so much that is everywhere else that it's like hard to get a minute, or even it's not possible to get a minute. There's something that could be stopping it too. It doesn't have to be like the person being like, I don't want to. It doesn't feel like it's like, I don't want to. It feels like uh, some other external factors that go into it. Um, how to overcome the obstacle is the Three of Cups, as I said. And in the recent readings, it has been talking about leaning into certain experiences or emotions instead of feeling like maybe waiting for the ball to drop, or not wanting to force it, or not wanting to even unbox it like a Pandora's box type of situation, because once you unearth something, it won't be able to be closed. Like it'll just be exposed, and I'm not saying that with like the Ace of Cups, like in a bad way, that it doesn't want to be experienced, but there just seems to be so much that needs to be done. And it might have been like now at this point, like there's energy that seems like you might be feeling like it's energy of falling behind, but in terms of the reading, it doesn't feel like it's falling behind. I feel that it's okay because you have temperance, and it's temperance twice, so I feel like that's invalidating energy because I took that one at the first temperance card from the bottom of the deck instead of shuffling it first. And it could be generally leading you here, generally leading you there, and then you have the overall energy from the Glory to Ukraine Tarot, the Seven of Cups. Now that is a menorah, so you don't have to go into like religious significance to it, but that seems like more of a day-to-day process too, of maybe you want things and yet, or want someone, and yet it seems like there are steps to get there. But each time you light this candle, there is a gift or an element of surprise that life brings to you. And I feel that maybe if you have something that you are happy about, like that happy moment that you think about in your sad times, and it can be like it should be like, well, it doesn't, I don't want to say should be, but like one of the happiest, purest, um, loving energies or memories that you have, to really shift the energy to uplift you from maybe those deeper waters that are harder to navigate out of. I feel like in this energy, there is a part of someone, or when I say a part of someone, I feel like it's almost like an extension of you, that there's like such a close bond that it's almost like they're willing to try to navigate the dark with you to find a way out of those times, this time, in all times. So let me just pull out one more card. And it's the Queen of Swords. So this is actually counterpart energy for the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So there is that duality in seeing things, and I feel that one person might understand more than you might think, or maybe you might come to terms with realizing that this person is on your level with those things. Like, they, even if they don't feel the same pain that I do, they're willing to try to help in whatever way that they can. And as I say that, like the Queen of Swords card keeps like moving like this way, like moving forward, like there is a destination or determination. This feels like it's a Queen of Swords that isn't really backing down or taking no for an answer. And I don't mean that like in a forceful way, and like if you don't want to talk about something, they're going to make you talk about it. But this person just feels like there's like a determination to try to mend things, or to make things, um like because the Queen of Swords is associated with the Justice card, Major Arcana, and there is just something that tries to make things right in her or his perspective, but I feel that you would say the same thing. So thank you guys so much for watching. I think I'm going to do a personal video next, in on my other channel. So I'll see you in another video. Bye.